I want to put a 7.3 in my second gen and then the nasty 12 valve in the shorty, because I want to take it to Dodge to get an oil change and have them pop the hood and just not know what's going on. I think it'd be funny just driving it around, people hearing it, because they know that wouldn't be right. Maybe let's do an Instagram vote, see what the people want, man. It's not that much work.
Nightmare, 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 nightmare.
Custom drive lines, that'll be two-wheel drive, that'll suck. Let the people vote, man.
That's crazy. So today we'll be putting the head on this 12 valve of Taylor's. It does need a little bit of love to get it back going. It's nothing too crazy. This truck is all wire tucked, has the ECU and the cowl, and everything's all clean and simple on this thing. When it's all put together, it looks a lot better. And this is why you always double check what you got. This fire ring is bent, I'm assuming from shipping and handling, as well as the old head gasket, if you look straight down it. So we're gonna call our engine builder and see what he thinks. Not the news we were looking for. This is why you always double check what you got before you go all the way in and waste your time. We actually have another issue.
I forgot when I ordered the head, the previous one we did was 20 thou over. If I remember right, we did it for just wiggle room. I thought we had enough for either 10 thou or standard, but we ordered this one just to be safe, which kind of sucked because you lose compression and the truck hard started and lose a little bit of power too.
This is a standard thickness head gasket that we got here. And to be able to run fire rings, they have to machine a groove into the cylinder head to be able to accept these fire rings. But the problem is we don't have our piston protrusion written down. Dakota does, and he's a little busy right now. So we're trying to figure out if we can order a new head gasket that's thicker. But if you see here, the problem is if you run a 10 thou over head gasket, the groove actually has to be machined less. We're in a little bit of a problem. We ordered this cylinder head. We're gonna have to use it no matter what. So we're kind of relying on the fact that the piston protrusion and the piston to valve clearance is gonna work.
We gotta do a lot of math, and I'm not good at math.
I am. I love math. Math is my favorite. Check out what we got in the shop. Oh my God, yes. This is the coolest guy at Sand Mountain in 2006. This thing needs a FICM update. You shut the key off and the FICM keeps running. This thing is mid. I like this. We got Ben looking for a spare change around the shop. Find any? He's trying to get enough money raised up to buy some rear lift blocks for his truck. No, after about, I'd say 13, 14 man hours, she's pretty much ready to go. Did a whole bunch of aircraft stripper and probably 7 wire wheels, and we're ready to rock and roll.
This is a budget build, so if it sucks, we can just always go back to that.
He's all tweaking. He wants it to be all right and stuff, and I keep telling him, I'm like, it's gonna have a hole in the block. God bless America. No free healthcare is fine with me.
Bryce is hipping and hawing about, I don't want to work in this shop and use the grinder when there's nice cars here, and he's right. So I went and got him a shop, but now he doesn't want to go help me move into it.
All right, that was a long day. We were here all day. This is the Speed Labs new headquarters, because as easy and as convenient it was to be at the tint shop and nice and beautiful and warm, it wasn't gonna fly. It's just too much going on with my customers' cars, too much risk of damaging their cars and just being a nuisance to everybody there with what's involved with fabricating, as you know. So we got this little hole in the wall shop just to kind of start out with for our first couple builds, and hopefully we can graduate to something bigger, but this place will be great for us. It already had a bunch of lights in it, which helps. And we basically just moved all my tools in here and painted it in 2 days, and it sucked. It's pretty cool. It's got a little mezzanine up there with a shower. Ben wants to live up there, but I signed something saying he can't. Yeah.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, you wish. We can do some damage in here. Hold on, homeboy's got a straight pipe 24 valve ripping it. Yeah, we'll be friends with him soon. But yeah, what's nice too, it does have big power in 2 spots. So next to the parts washer, we got some big power. And then right here, we'll be able to run an extension cord for the welders, which will be awesome. Probably fit 2 trucks in here, maybe store 3, but at least we won't be making a mess at the other shop, which will be nice. And we can come in here whenever and get stuff done. But this is humble beginnings. Hopefully we can look back at this years from now and go, holy crap, we did that.
Bryce talked about our head gasket situation, and I messed up ordering this new head after the other one that we had cracked. We think we might have a little contact problem, but I'm at the point where the head's already cut. There's not much we can do. We're just gonna send it. Bryce likes that. I don't. I wanted to measure everything. I wanted to get all the piston to valve.
We had like a 45-minute conversation with Dakota. He's like, don't do it.
I mean, the thing is, even if we measure everything and it doesn't fit, then I'm out another $3,000. So it's kind of screwed either way. Let's just cross our fingers.
So we got the head on last night. We went over the head studs and wire wheeled them, make sure that they're all contaminant free to be able to ensure that we're actually running them into the block and there's nothing in the way. I have to go through every bore in the block and blow them all out, make sure all the debris is out, make sure everything's as clean as possible. But we got the ARP 625s. This is the 4th time that we will be reusing them. I don't know if this is a good idea. We don't have the stretch gauge, so I'm gonna have to make some phone calls to ensure that this is the proper way instead of having to go to Summit and spend another $2,000 on head studs. Just trying to pinch the pennies everywhere that we can. It might seem like a big deal what we were complaining about with the measurements. Realistically, we built this motor with a ton of clearance just to ensure that in the future, if we couldn't get parts, we would be able to repair it. I hate the fact that we did this in the cab. Every time that we've put this head on, it has been on an engine stand with all of the studs as a guide to be able to drop the cylinder head on to ensure that we're making contact with all the fire rings. But we probably double checked, I'd say 10 times last night, picking the head up, making sure, shoving a flashlight underneath there. I think we're good to go. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go through and take these rockers apart and make sure that I get all the stuff off of everything. I mean, they still have oil in them. These things have been sitting in the back of the truck for quite some time, so I would much rather go through, spend some time making sure that they're all clean as can be and make sure that there's no surprises in here and get them ready to put back on the truck. So we're gonna take this little snap ring off right here, make sure that we put everything back together exactly how it was. This is cylinder number 1, that's cylinder number 6, obviously in a line, just like that. So. Well, that was fun. Got these all torn apart. Found a little bit of dust and whatnot in between the little crevices. So it's nice to get everything taken apart, brake cleaned, sprayed off with air, make sure everything's all good. Put some fresh assembly lube on it. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through here and clean up all these bores. I really should have done it with the head off, but we'll just forget that. So that was pretty nasty. Came up with this little design. Regulated the air down because when I first turned it on, it shot the hose out pretty quick. But if you check this out, it goes right down in. Went through all the bores. Yeah, that was fun. Made sure to tape everything up, cover everything up, just to be sure. But cheap insurance, it guarantees that we are getting the clamping force that we would like with these bad boys. So I got all the head studs started by hand. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna chase them all down. I am kidding, Dakota. I've done so many 6 liters and LB7s and LBZs and stuff like that when I work on one of these, I'm just like, wow. You're meaning to tell me that there is a better option on the market? It just blows my mind. Just, oh, 6 liters are so easy to work on. I agree to an extent, but when it comes to the simplicity of the water pump, like, are you kidding me? Doing a Duramax water pump, if you've ever done one, you know right now, it is a nightmare. 2 bolts, undo the tensioner, pull the water pump, clean it up, put the new one on, 2 bolts, belt, fill it up with coolant. But nope, we gotta over-engineer everything. I'm gonna run through here, tighten them all up by hand, go back through, give them all a quarter turn, put the rockers in, and keep this ball rolling. That took forever. So we're gonna go through here and add a little looby-dooby. And then after that, make sure you go over every top of the valve, get a little dab-a-doo of the goo, and you'll be good. Everywhere where there's metal-to-metal contact in the rotating assembly, give it some love. And then if you think it might need it, put it on there. It's okay. There's no such thing as a mistake when you're building a motor. Only happy accidents and mistakes. Cylinder number 1, as you can tell. Line up your head stud with the rocker. Ooh, yep, that's in. That's how you want it to look right there. No. Grab your next rocker. Trying to do this with one hand is not fun. Now that we've got the head all situated, everything's going pretty smoothly. We're trying to achieve a final torque here of 150 foot-pounds. That is what the ARP hardware calls for. We're gonna be going in 3 steps. It's gonna be 50, 100, and 150. Right now, I just did the 100 foot-pound torque. We're gonna redo it all at 150 foot-pounds. Yeah, that's just funny to me. 6 liters, you know, they blow head gaskets all the time, even with ARP hardware. Torque them to 210 foot-pounds, still have problems. Got a 12 valve, stud it, 150, works great. Whipping out the fresh Steed Speed that we will be running on this truck for the compound setup. It will have a wastegate on it this time. Hit up the guys over at Steed Speed. They got us set up with the angled up flange T4 with the provision for the wastegate. So let's get this bad girl on. We got these really cool, I believe we got these from Fleece. They're like locking manifold bolts. They're pretty cool. I had to modify this one a little bit to be able to clear the provision for the wastegate. If you see it, pick up what I'm putting down here is too long. Had to cut it down, rethread it. Gonna get the turbos mounted up again. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. Fortunately for you, I'm just gonna 3, 2, 1. There it is.
I'm gonna go home.
It was super simple, probably 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This charger's been heated up to oblivion. It doesn't come apart very easily. You have to smoke this thing with a sledge to get it apart. Dakota and I used a 10-ton press to get the wheel out of it. It was a nightmare, and it's still fighting me to this day.
Why do you do that?
Because you think it's fun to push 2200 degrees out of this thing.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, same. But yeah, we're gonna keep, whatever.
Love the new shop.
Oh, really, dude? Damn. Hey, you know my rate, dude. After hours. I'm in my Snuggie right now, and you guys are calling me at 2 in the morning. What the hell?
Right.
Really, dude? You're showing off with how badass your dial indicator is?
Oh, this thing's a nightmare to use.
God damn. I almost fell off the bed.
We're running it down. You ready?
Let me see the setup closer. Let me see everything.
You're on camera right now. No bad words.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 0.
Okay, so go slow so I can watch it, because the signal's hella choppy.
Okay. I'm trying to get rid of that screwdriver shadow. Hold on. Okay.
So that's TDC exhaust.
That seems like a ton.
Is it in increments of 5?
Yeah, I think it's half.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah, that's half a thousand.
Yes.
That's,
So 10
that's
pound?
my gauge, that's all.
What are we at? 20.
No, we have 240 pounds.
Got it.
It's late, we're over it, but we checked our piston and valve contact. It was tough because we've never done it and just learning and just we're kind of stressing ourselves out to do it right. But we found we have plenty of room, even with this gasket, so that's exciting. Intake, we had 230 thou and exhaust was 207 thou. So we got miles. We checked just number one. I mean, they're all super close enough with that much clearance on one that we should be good. To do it right, you would definitely have to check them all, but we're not doing it right, we're doing it right now. Next will be wastegate school that I've never been to. We're kind of up in the air if we want to do vent to atmosphere in the downpipe or in the hot pipe. We've been told that if you do it in the hot pipe, you can make a bigger number on fuel only. Vent to atmosphere, you can make a bigger number on nitrous. We like big fuel numbers. Nitrous is kind of cool, but I don't know. I think we're going to try to go into the hot pipe as our goal. So we're on the bus right now. The issue we're running into, and I'm sure there's a way to do this. We don't know which way it is.
We have the instructions, but like the words get really confusing and it like all turns into one word, if you know what I mean. And the pictures aren't good.
To get this clamp, to get this wastegate to seat flush on here and here, you have this little sealing spacer here, but it has to be compressed flush with this surface here. Yes. You have to overcome all the spring pressure in here. So I've been pushing on this thing and it has been kicking my butt. So I'm going to stand on it because I can push way harder like this. Push down like this, which is tough, but I can push way harder like this. Boom!
So instead of trying to do this with Taylor's foot, I was like, oh, we could manipulate the diaphragm with 150 psi of air. So now we should be able to get it on. Super easy to put on with standing on your $7,000 turbo kit. Little hater pipe update. Did a quick 90 on it to where it comes out right there off the top of the manifold, and then we're going to hug the firewall as much as we can and come out somewhere right around here where the body line is.
So, it's been a few hours. We got all the wastegate mocked up and tacked. Yesterday we talked about doing it to the hot pipe. We want to see flames. Fuel only is cool, making more power, but
everybody, the people want the flames. So we get a little hater pipe, little teardrop. Next thing for the wastegate will be to run a boost reference line to it and have like a regulator so we can adjust where we want it to start bleeding and cracking off at. I'm guessing somewhere around 35, 40 pounds is where we'll start, because it's not, when it starts bleeding off, it's not everything, it's progressive. So it'll crack and then slowly open to 100%. Looks pretty cool, pretty excited. We got some work done on this thing. Probably like most of you guys that follow us, when I get home, I go on Craigslist, I go on Marketplace every single day, a few times a day, always looking for that deal. Well, finally, I got the deal. Show them what we got. Problem with it, it's slow. My 12 valve over here is, to me, it's a nice truck. It only has 118,000 original miles on it. It's been painted, it's super clean, there's no dents, there's no scratches really. So for what I want to do, go beat the brakes off this thing in the dunes, is sad, because I do like these trucks. I know they get a lot of hate, but I'm a big second gen guy. I think they're awesome. So transplant. Our plan is get this one running. It's close. We just got to bolt everything back together. Start it up, make sure everything's good, nothing's leaking, and then literally rip the motor out of it and the trans and put all of our go fast parts into that truck, because I sold my Razor, so I want a sand truck now. I got to keep up with Bryce, and instead of trying to build that 24 valve, I already have a big motor that makes a lot of power. So we're going to swap everything into there and keep it ugly and keep it just the way it looks now and see how it'll do in the dunes. And then eventually, just like Bryce's, do all the suspension upgrades and whatnot. But we just kind of want to have two trucks out at the dunes because we love the sand. We both don't have Razors right now, so these will literally be our Razors, and we're going to go and dune and fart around and go everywhere the Razors do, but we're going to do it our way in diesel trucks, which is kind of stupid. So we'll see how it works, but I got faith. This 2001 2500, I guess it was a Caltrans truck is what he told me. She's pretty clapped, but not really. It's kind of weird. Like, you look at some parts like, man, this thing sucks. And you look at others. I drove it all the way here from Carson. It's like, I don't know, 40, 50 miles. It drives so good. It does have a little bit of a TPS issue to where it's kind of intermittent throttle issue. Probably easy fix, and literally could flip this thing for nothing. But we paid $3,500 for it, which is hard because quart motors for these go $2,500 all day long. It's not a lot, it's honest work. So here she is, 311,000 mile. Looks like it has a newer charger on it. Right now this is very underwhelming, especially when you look at the C20. The question
Nothing
is,
wrong with it. The AC works like...
yeah, the AC was like intermittent. That's probably just wiring. It actually is kind of a little hot rod. I was gassing it on the way here. It did good. I've never had a VP truck. I wasn't disappointed with it. Hopefully we can make it look this good. Alrighty, so me and Bryce are all excited, tearing into this thing, getting a game plan where we're going to put it, how we're going to ship it down to full hook. And I'm like, hold on a second. It's been a while since I've messed with 24 valves. The one thing that you don't want on a 24 valve, she's a 53 block. But she has 300K on her. She was going to go, she would have went. That's my theory. I know Dakota, he's not scared of 53 blocks. A lot of people are, some people aren't. So we'll have a conversation about it. But bummer, for sure. How do we not look that up? We could have got $1,000 off.
So we got the red-headed stepchild all ready to come out. It's really unfortunate that we had to remember to look for the 53 on the side of the block after we got this far into it. Time to get this thing yanked out and start making some plans on how to cram that into this little guy right here.
Bryce was over here with the pry bar, and he jumped out and stuck his foot in this. There you go, oil. I'm taking you to Walmart.
Out here at the compound where we got all the cool stuff. Took the camper shell off. We ended up fully gutting the truck last night, pulling the motor out of it with the transmission as well. Pulled all the stuff out of the bed, and right now we're getting ready to cut the bed sides off of it. and then pull the bed floor out and throw it in the old trash trailer, and trying to keep as much of the bedside as we can without totally deforming it. So we will see how that goes, I guess. And Bob's your uncle. That wasn't too bad, honestly. I was kind of dreading that, but at the same time it was really thin, so it just blew right through it. You know, these Dodges aren't built like Fords, so there's a lot less structural integrity in it, you know?
Bryce making fun of my wimpy bed or whatever. You guys go back to the shorty video. Remember that frame that we cut through in about 30 seconds? Yeah, good luck with this ram.
So as you can see here, now that we got the truck back to the shop, our next plan of attack is we're going to be removing a whole bunch of stuff off the frame that we don't need anymore. So that would be like the receiver hitch, bed mounts, as well as e-brake cables with the e-brake brackets and the cable guides. Get rid of all that, as well as the spare tire hanger. Got to get rid of what we can to save some weight. I want to take a moment and give a little bit of a shout out to the guys over at AirDog for getting us hooked up with this banner for our shop. We love buying their pumps. We love running their pumps. We love the simplicity of their pumps compared to the other competitors on the market. We used them in the past for the race truck over there, so we are going to be using them again on this just because they got us taken care of. They, you know, the customer support with these guys, they were calling us back and forth until we finally came up to a conclusion of what we were going to end up doing. So on this engine, it does require a ton of fuel flow. We are running 330 gallons of fuel per hour, so that comes down to running 2 of their 165 GPH pumps, and we are using their sumps as well as their regulated return, and they provide fresh and pure fuel to our injection pump at all times. No air, no debris, no nothing. Great guys over at AirDog. Recommend them over anything else on the market, hands down. This piece is on the frame like this, right? But there's a little spot weld on the other side, not on this one. So I couldn't reach it with the cutoff wheel or anything. So I cut a line right here and was hitting it with the hammer, bouncing back and forth, you know. And then I hit it one last time extremely hard. And the last thing I remember, something was flying in the air, and it you can't put 2 and 2 together.
Strip this weight, so our goal is when we have our bedsides mocked up, we're going to probably do it pretty sketchy, just do like little L brackets, tack them on, so we have a tailgate to kind of hide, you know, our operation here. But even with this thing skinned, it's pretty heavy. 25 pounds. I do so myself.
No. Oh, God, you found me.
It just hurts us to not do it as good as we have, like with the C20. So we were just going to rattle can the frame and then maybe, you know, do the firewall a little bit. But after doing the C20 right, with all the resources we have, with Bryce's dad, he has a sandblasting company, dustless blasting. We're going to take this to his house and we're going to blast the frame all the way down just to get the paint job A1, because we saw how it turned out on the other truck. And that Imron paint that we use is like powder coat once it's dried and cured. That I think in the future when we look at it, like, wow, that was worth doing it because it's going to look so nice. But the rest of it, don't get me wrong, is going to be ugly.
Now we got to go to my house, get the trailer, come back, winch this thing up onto the trailer, go back to the house, pull the cab mounts, pull the cab, pull the steering shaft, pull the brake lines, pull the shocks, pull the fuel tank, and then put this thing on a mount that I have, like a rotisserie kind of thing, or just in the dirt and pick it up with the great awl and sandblast it. We're going to get it all the way down. We're going to sandblast the firewall too and just go all out on it. I mean, I have the machine. It's a $70,000 sandblast machine and it doesn't get used, so we might as well fire it up once a year, right? So now that we got this thing all disconnected and ready to pull, I'm gonna go get the old great awl, pull this cab and get ready to pull the fenders out of it, pull off the wiring harness, get some brake lines off the frame, get ready to sandblast this thing this coming week. Got a lot of work ahead of us with this old project, but it shouldn't take too long, especially having the dustless blaster. Should be able to just blow through the whole thing and get it done. So I think this is the best that I can come up with. Pulling this cab is actually a lot harder than I thought. I was going to go through the doors, but my forks don't go narrow enough. So came up with this little idea, picked up the front end, put jack stands on the back. That way I can shove the forks under through the back of the cab and then try that. So after a long weekend of playing fire evacuation services twice, there was a fire by Taylor's and our really good buddy Ryan's house. So on Saturday we went down there, moved all of their personal high dollar vehicles away from the house and to Taylor's window tint shop, and then that took about 2.5, 3 hours dealing with the evacuation services and whatnot. Once we got back on Sunday, everybody moved their vehicles back, and then about 2 hours after that, the fire kicked back up again, so they all had to move everything again. I was in Las Vegas for Dakota Sargent's wedding, Mr. Full Hook Performance. Congratulations to him and Mrs. Sargent now, that is. So now we're back to reality. I just landed back in Reno, and we got Mr. Ben digging the dustless blasting machine out so we can get ready to sandblast this frame. We are going to pull a few more things off of this chassis just to make sure that we're not blowing through anything that we plan on reusing. We will be removing the front shocks, the wire harness, covering up all the ports for random lines, but I'm going to run the pressure just right to where it doesn't blow through anything that we need. Yeah. You ready to play musical cars and welcome to my realm where you just got to go crazy for 3 hours to make something happen? No. So now that we're all done with playing musical cars and moving everything around and filling up tires and blah, 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 I want to go over this real quick with you guys just so you can check out this awesome piece of machinery that I get to use thanks to my dad.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
So essentially that's an air compressor. This provides constant high pressure air to the hopper. You have your water tank right here and it's all pneumatically controlled. It pumps water into here when you're mixing through this door. So you can put up to 6 bags in there. That's as much as I've done. You fill it up with water. This is your overflow valve. You never want to go any higher than that level with material or water. And then you just hit the trigger and go. Frame came out pretty good. I missed a little spot right there though. No, but in all seriousness, we are not trying to go for a perfect sandblast on this because, you know, obviously we didn't pull the thing completely apart. We did the best that we could for what we had in the room that we had, but she's ready to let dry. I did use rust inhibitor on this, so I can rinse it down like I did, and then once it's completely dry, I will go through with a air compressor and blow it all off. But we're gonna get this thing stored. I'm running out of smoke like daylight to get everything all cleaned up for the day and still have time to lay in my Snuggie and be cuddly wuddly with my roommate TJ. Okay, plenty of you are gonna be looking and be like, what's up with that? This is TJ, my roommate. This is his father's truck, originally purchased in 1997. He was gifted this as his first vehicle and dumped a ton of money into it. It's got 2010 Ford axles on it, PMF 4-link, ADS bypass shocks, custom front and rear bumper, custom rock slider steps on it. It has an Allison transmission, fully built, 7.3, rocking a T4 kit, caravan camper shell. For those of you that don't know, caravan campers are a staple in northern Nevada, pretty much all in Nevada actually. That shell is what you see on everybody's truck that goes out hunting and uses their truck for a lot of outdoors activities. But it's just an old school thing here. That's why we all have them. I have one on my truck as well. It was on all the trucks that we saw as children driving around the town. All the big heads in town, they have caravan camper shells, even to this day. This thing has every single thing that you could possibly do to one of these trucks on it. It's also got a full F-150 Platinum interior. It's a great truck. Now, don't really drive it as much just because of the fact that you don't really want to be daily driving that truck. But back to this. Got the frame all sandblasted last night. It's over there. Sorry for the mess in my yard. This is kind of a construction yard. Not really a ideal place to be doing this. I have a bunch of tools here and a bunch of equipment that I can utilize to take apart trucks. So anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm going to pull the fenders off this truck, pull the hood off, get it ready to be sanded and painted underneath. Yeah, clean this thing up, do the Speed Lab touch like we normally do, make the engine bay look insane and killer. So yeah. My air compressor could not keep up with Taylor's air demand, so the RV will do it. That's pretty funny.
All right, so we got our tubs sprayed. Oxford white, not bad. It's just single stage. You can definitely call me the orange peel poppy. And the wind's blowing, so there's dirt in it everywhere, but this will be fine for an engine bay. Frame's all painted as well. This stuff takes forever to dry. You can't even touch it, I think, for like a day or so. So
I'm gonna just let her sit here and bake, which kind of sucks because we got a bunch of stuff to do, but it's all good. We'll stay busy. But it sucks is the wind that we're having right now is just blowing dust everywhere. So next investment, paint booth. Wasting time. This is stupid, but it's cool. It'll be worth it. It's been a long week, but this is that same truck, the white and orange 24 valve. We're at the point to where we stab the motor, the trans, the T-case, drive line. We're gonna knock out exhaust, fuel tank today, maybe some fuel lines, some wiring. It's come together pretty good. I mean, it's not a crazy hard swap, but to clean everything up and sandblast this and do it all right is actually a ton of work and logistics getting all that done. Stay tuned because next video, this thing will be running, driving, burnouts, dyno, who knows. So we're getting close, but we'll definitely be on track for Halloween and maybe even Truckmania. We have a lot bigger plans for this. I mean, this truck here, every time I drag raced it, my best ET was I think we did 1060 at 131 with a 1960 foot, just terrible pass. But then after I make every pass, we got kicked out because no roll cage, none of that. This truck, we ordered the cage, that'll be 850 certed. We plan on doing a housing in the rear, tubbing it like Firepunk's 4-link, and actually seeing how fast we can go with an old 12 valve. So I know it'll be in the 9s. I don't know how low, but that's the goal too. Once again, we are at like 300 subs, which is rad. I appreciate you guys. We are giving away that brand new Yeti cooler. I might even sweeten the deal. We got some takeoff parts, a Pioneer double din, some Roxford wastegate speakers. You get nothing else over here. I mean, we'll find some parts. If you're a true second gen guy and you're the guy, we'll hook you up. You'd probably sell it on eBay. But I appreciate you guys. 1,000 subs will be major for us because then we get monetized and actually get the ball rolling. So that's our goal. Thank you.